I could have the school committee members back to their seats, please. We have completed our executive session. I have a motion to move to open session.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor? May I have a motion to seal the minutes of executive session?
So moved.
I have a
Second that
second?
motion.
All in favor? Okay, we are back in open session, and we do have a couple of minutes before we will start the public version of that session, so if we could all just hang on for a minute. Thanks.
I locked myself out of my iPad.
Oh, no.
Brenda. Mr. Lee. My daughter is like.
Okay, I have 7 o'clock on the button, so we can proceed. We are now back in open session. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Mendes, do we have anyone for open forum? Thank you. All righty, let's move into our agenda. Our consent agenda consists of school committee meeting minutes from December 9th, as well as executive session minutes from December 9th. We have the enrollment report for December, as well as the homeschool requests for the 2025-26 school year. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as is?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, you have a
I do.
question? I'm sorry.
Just one quick question. I noticed that from last
Kim,
month.
if you want to pull it, that's a separate motion, so let's.
Oh, okay, sure.
Let's back up a little bit. When we, and maybe what I'll do in the future is ask, do you want to pull anything?
Okay.
Okay, and then we will, so if I could please have a motion to approve, it's just the.
that, yeah.
Okay. If I could have a motion to approve the entire consent agenda with the exception of item 3B, enrollment.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, now we'll discuss enrollment. Okay.
I noticed there was a difference of 13 students. And I was looking down below to see if any of them had went to homeschooling or outplaced or, so those students, they've left the district, those 13 students?
We do have a number of students who have left the district. They've either moved out of Tiverton or out of the state of Rhode Island.
So in December, 13 families moved, or
Well,
13 students left?
13 students.
Okay.
Any of those students in homeschool?
Because we don't know what happened to those students. I mean, they're not here. They're
Right.
gone.
Okay, yeah.
Whether they moved out of Tiverton or whatever it may be, they're not here.
We did have a lot of students move over the course of that month.
Over the break period?
Throughout the month of December, either other communities in Rhode Island or, in a few cases, states, some overseas, some across the country, some in other states.
Okay, no, I just wanted
Well, my hope is warmer climates.
Okay.
to, all set, thank you.
So
All set? All right, can I have a motion to approve the item 3B, the enrollment report?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll move into the superintendent's update. Mr. Haskins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll review this evening. We have a number of resignations and appointments to the Tiverton schools, a few recognitions, and a couple of upcoming dates. First, for resignations, I regret to inform you the resignation of Jenna Ouellette, the assistant to the assistant superintendent, Marissa Voris, a part-time teacher assistant at the Ranger School, Laura Rocha, school nurse teacher at Ranger School, Ryan Moscrop, teacher assistant at Tiverton Middle School, Marianne Sardina, teacher assistant at Ranger School, and Dawn Brayton, Tiverton Middle School secretary to the assistant principal. We have a few new hires to the district. Thomas Murray, building substitute at Tiverton Middle School, Jessica Caldwell, assistant to the assistant principal at Tiverton Middle School, Jeffrey Silveria, long-term sub for grade 6 mathematics, and Nicole Sylvia, social worker at the Ranger School. We thank those who have resigned for their years of service to the Tiverton School District, and we welcome and have great hopes for our new hires. A few recognitions. I want to recognize the work of the musicians at Tiverton High School who performed as a part of the band, jazz band, chorus, and orchestra to an auditorium filled with all elementary school students and 8th graders in the Tiverton schools. I want to thank the musicians and their band teachers and leaders. Concerts were very well attended and very much enjoyed. I also want to recognize the Tiverton Middle School band and chorus who performed winter concerts. Both the 5th and 6th grade band and 7th and 8th grade band performed evening events for their parents in the community. Thank you and congratulations to the musicians and their teachers. Two upcoming important dates. There is an early release day on January 28th. Assistant Superintendent Kraeger, Principal Keogh, Assistant Principal Aruda, Principal Zitoli, and the department heads and curriculum coordinators are working to plan a vertical articulation of teachers across the middle school and the high school to come to some closer agreement and alignment for the essential outcomes or knowledge and skills that students must master by the end of their courses to help build better program coherence in all of our content subject areas: art, music, physical education, health, world languages, science, social studies, English language arts, and mathematics. At the elementary level, teachers will be furthering their professional development in instructional technology, specifically the use of the TouchView boards that were recently installed in the elementary classrooms. And as you know, we'll celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 19th. There's no school.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll now move to general business. Item 5A, approve 8th grade end-of-year class trip to Fenway Park. Mr. Zitoli, still?
Good evening, everyone. Over the last couple of years, we've had great parent support in organizing our end-of-the-year trip for grade 8, and this year is no different. Our kids were given a choice of going to Camp Watchog. This is all our 8th grade students, which is where we went last year, which was a ropes course, campy, kayaking, really great day. We also, they were also given the choice to go to a Rhode Island pro soccer game or a Red Sox game, which they chose unanimously. And I just want to kind of walk you through a little bit of the plan. We would take 3 buses roughly near the end of school on that day. It's a day that they celebrate, that Fenway celebrates graduations, whether high school, middle school, so there'll be a lot of students there. And they will celebrate one of our kids as well with their parent down on the field. And we're sort of working on how we'll pick that person, but we'll figure that out by the time we get there. We enter the park earlier than normals to get acclimated there by about 4:30. Our plan is that we'll have 30 chaperones, not including Mr. Kellett, myself, and some teachers. So that ratio looks like it would be 1 parent to 3 or 4 children. At this point, our plan, and I think this is going to come to fruition, is that it's going to be free for all students, paid for by the calendar drive, which we just did, which was very successful. The PTO and also a little bit of Feinstein money will help pay for the buses. And that day is June 2nd.
Do I have a motion to approve the Tiverton Middle School field trip?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Second? Anyone have any discussion or questions? Well, Mr. Zitoli, you left one very important piece off of your recommendation here.
Why did you want to go?
Well, there's that, but who are they playing?
You know, I
Anybody
don't know.
good?
Kelsey, do you know
Baltimore
what's going on?
Orioles.
Baltimore Orioles. You know, I didn't even ask that. Thank you.
That would have been my first question.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even ask that. Get so worried about the other things.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for the planning of this. Thank you to the PTO for helping the cost. So if there's no cost, every student's able to go. There's no-
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we couldn't survive without
Sure is.
those parent groups, for
Yeah,
sure.
Parent groups are amazing. Thank you.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next we have accept a Rhode Island Farm and Sea to School mini sub-award for $2,500. Ms. Kraeger and Ms. Sherman, and I think Ms. Cusimano?
Yes, as you know, Tiverton Public Schools was accepted to be part of the 25-26 Farm and Sea to School cohort. So each district in the cohort is eligible for a $2,500 mini grant just by completing the required paperwork. So with the support of Ms. Cusimano, we submitted our application on January 8th to Farm Fresh Rhode Island. And those dollars will really support our activities that we are currently involved in, supporting nutrition education, school gardens, and the farm-to-school programming. So yeah, our recommendation would be for you to authorize the school department to formally accept that mini sub-award.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the $2,500 Rhode Island Farm and Sea to School Institute mini sub-award?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Thank you
wanna
very
say
much.
Just want to say thank you. It's been a great partnership. We had a great time working with Liv Whitmore. He came into our high school several times and is continuing throughout the remainder of the year. And because of our exposure with the Pharmacy Institute and the hard work that Ms. Kraeger has done and Ms. Sherman has done, we have a great partnership going forward. So we'll have a lot of great connections here in Tiverton as well. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank
work
you.
on this.
Okay, next up, we have a vote to ratify the Rhode Island Council 94 A.F.S.C.M.E. AFL-CIO Local 2670 contract. This contract is cumulative work for several months of negotiations. It is a one-year contract, and it will provide for increases that are absolutely necessary for some of our lowest paid staff so that we can, they can not only have a more livable situation, and we can maintain a certain level of staff as well. So if you don't mind, I would like to get a motion to approve the Rhode Island Council 94 A.F.S.C.M.E. contract.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Anyone have any comments? Okay, well, hearing none, all in favor? That is 4. Thank you very much, it's approved. Okay, next up, approved 2026-27 school calendar. Mr. Haskins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Some information about this proposed calendar. This calendar was created using 2 major sources. One, the Rhode Island statewide recommended calendar that came from the Office of the Commissioner over the holiday break. And second, the Tiverton School District's 2025-26 school calendar. This almost exactly replicates the calendar that we're experiencing this school year with a couple of changes. One is, in order for students, for the last day of students to be the second week of June, we need for them to come back a day earlier this year. So rather than students coming back on Thursday and Friday in the last week of August, they'll come back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That Monday, August 24th, will be a professional development day. August 25th will be convocation and teacher classroom setup. The third professional development day will be on September 8th, which is designated as a no-school day due to primary election day. So December 7th is Labor Day holiday. December 8th is no school for students, school for faculty for a professional day on September 8th. This calendar also recognizes November 25th as a non-workday, non-school day. The reason for that is that the 23rd and 24th are parent-teacher conferences, working late into the night. One of the agreements that we've had is to keep school off on December 25th. There are 3 early release days in this proposed calendar, similarly to the 25-26 school year for professional development. Those are scheduled roughly the same as they were for this current school year. The date changes, but the week of the month and the day of the week is the same. The only religious holiday observed here is Good Friday, in keeping with past calendars. And there are 4 dates identified required by the Department of Education at the end of the school year for weather makeup days. As you know, Tiverton has a distance learning option for inclement weather days. May use up to 3 of those days, but the state calendar requires us to identify 4 potential makeup days, which would be held the week of June 14th.
And that's of 2027.
And that's 2027. The class of 2027 will graduate on Friday, June 4th.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Tiverton School District 2026-2027 school calendar?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Are there any questions?
Did you say there was going to be a professional development on September 8th? Because
Yes.
that's the primary?
Yes.
Okay. And then just before this goes out to families or wherever it's going to go on the website, there's a typo in February. It's the first Tuesday.
So the recess is, we would then identify February 15th as President's Day, no school. And then The vacation period would be the 16th through the 19th.
I think,
It's
Kim,
February.
what you're saying is February 2nd is
Yeah.
identified
There's
as
two
the third.
February 3rds.
Oh, I
The
see.
first, yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. I missed that.
Yeah, the 29th of January is on Friday, so Saturday, Sunday would be 30, 31st. Monday's the 1st. Yeah, you're right, 2nd. Sorry, I had to read through that.
I didn't make it very clear.
No, got it.
So,
That's it
Is it
for
okay?
me, thank you.
Anyone else?
no,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I
didn't
thought you were
mean to
contemplating.
distract you. No,
Sorry.
I was contemplating on keeping my mouth shut.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and we have I'd like to have the motion amended to approve the calendar with the stipulation that this one typographical error get fixed before it's communicated. Do I have that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
Second that motion.
Okay. So may I have a motion to accept the amended school calendar for 26-27?
You know, I don't, is it too late for the change to be done, the adjustment, and then bring this back to us? I don't like,
It's, this one's a minor typo.
okay, okay.
If it was a substantive change, I
No,
would
no.
agree with you.
But I just think it's okay. That's fine, we can do it
No, I'm glad
here.
you picked up on it, but it is minor. Unless others disagree. Okay.
So where are we now?
I'll make that motion to approve the amended calendar.
Do I have a second?
I'll
I
s-
think Kim made the motion for the amended, we just need a second.
Oh, second,
Second.
sorry.
All in favor?
That's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, we have a couple of policies to discuss. So, kicking things off, policy 735. This is a first read. Actually, we have first reads for both of these policies. They were both on our agenda, if you recall, back in December. But because there were recommendations for changes and requests for clarification, we're bringing them both back as first reads again this evening. First one being policy 735, open forum. You'll notice that everything in red is a change to the current policy, and I think I explained at the last meeting that there was going to be just the stipulation that the same individual who signed the log prior to the start of the meeting actually be the speaker, and that and this was more grammatical for item number 2 to begin by stating his or her name and address. Item number 3, and this is where we had a little bit of discussion with respect to adding verbiage for students. So the language now would say, not comment or address specific personnel, students, litigation, or contract negotiations. And I did recommend that we strike as restricted by open meeting regulations, simply because, everything we do is in compliance with law. And where it concerns students, it's less about open meetings and more about student privacy. Item number 5 stands as it did a month ago. Instead of saying no solicitation, it just says refrain from soliciting. So that is all we have for policy 735. We won't be voting on it this evening. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so we will bring it back for second read at our next meeting. Next, we have policy 373, athletic and student activity funds management. We also had this policy in front of us back in December. Mr. Andrade, I believe you've gone ahead and put together a summary of what the changes are, and you have a copy of the policies that will be deleted when we go to second read. So, Mr. Andrade, did you want to talk to it?
Yeah, so I tried my best to gather all removed provisions from policies 370, 371, 372. So in your packet, right behind the policy, the new policy 373 on page 4, this identifies all the provisions that were removed and not carried forward to 373. So as you all know from the December meeting, but as a reminder, this policy number 373, as chairperson said, is replacing 370, 371, 372, which is in your packet as well. So if there's any questions or anything that was removed that you have a question on, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, and again, this is first read this evening. We're not going to be taking any votes on it tonight, but does anyone have any questions to kick things off?
Are we going to be going over this again in our committee?
No.
Or not? Okay.
It represents the same changes that the committee had discussed previously, but not presented adequately to the committee.
Okay. The Executive Director of Business and Finance. Is that,
It's me.
should we use your job title? Are you Director of Finance?
No, my job title is Executive Director of Business Finance.
Oh. Because it shows on your contract as Director of Finance. That's why I was.
Correct. The heading on the website is Director of Finance, but if you open up the contract, my title is Executive Director of Business Finance. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep it
I
consistent.
think, yeah, historically, the position's always been, I think that's why, but, yeah. I answer to everything.
And there's some things here that, like, regularly, should we quantify that?
Can you specifically?
Yeah, whereabouts?
It's the very last line of first page.
Of the first page of the
Yeah.
new policy?
I mean, regularly means a lot
Or would you suggest
different.
we go to funds shall be reconciled monthly, quarterly? Yes.
Right, it's not,
So this is are you talking about, it's a receipt or invoice?
Under
must
4 for
support-
petty cash,
Correct.
a receipt or invoice must support the disbursement, and the fund shall be reconciled regularly. So that's the entire petty cash fund.
Yeah.
So put a definite time around quarterly. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I think for something this small, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
and then on the second page, it says periodic spot checks. Could we quantify that too?
Where is this, Kim? What?
Audit and oversight,
Oversight.
the second bullet point.
Okay, the bill and personal.
I'm gonna say at least so many times, like X number a year, at least, or at least one.
Deb, do you have your microphone on?
Oh, I don't. Do we wanna say like at least
Quarterly or semi-annually?
semi-annually, or at least twice a year, however you wanna, what do you think, Kim? Yeah, as long as it's quantified, I think it's fine.
Yeah, semi-annually I'll make the change.
And then you mentioned bank statements shall be reconciled monthly. Who's going to, is that, because you mentioned the money's coming into the principal, then going to the treasurer.
Correct.
So-
Dottie Eckersley is the treasurer. She's a stipend treasurer for this, so she reconciles it monthly.
Oh, okay, so I guess we don't need to,
The treasurer
Specify.
shall, and then that way the treasurer changes at some point. We'll know who's working.
Reconcile bank statements monthly.
It says it monthly. Where is this? Thanks.
Doesn't say
Yeah.
who though, so we'll change it.
So the treasurer.
We can change that to treasurer shall reconcile bank statements monthly.
Okay.
and then under signatures and approvals, it says at least 2 authorized signatures, the building principal and the treasurer.
Is it,
Is that, because I've been on an account before for the union, and every time you switch people, you have to go to the bank and do another card. Is that what's going to happen with that?
That's what I recommend. So, we always have 2 signatures on everything we do. So again, this is me changing things, so we're trying to approve, so that's my recommendation, if you agree. Yeah.
So if a principal leaves, we have to make sure that they get their name off that account? Before they leave?
Similar to a treasurer, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
good
always
pra-
been the
I think
practice.
that's good practice.
Yep.
Okay. Then I was looking at, and this is the last thing, I promise. Under student funds, there's 4 lines, the first 4 lines under collection and safekeeping. I think that should go under purpose,
Student funds,
because what it talks about really isn't,
whereabouts, Kim, sorry?
on the first page,
First
student
page.
funds,
Okay.
collection and
safe-
safekeeping.
Yep. What's your question? I apologize.
Oh, just those 4 lines.
I don't
That
see-
sounds more like a purpose than it sounds like collecting and safekeeping. When you read it through, it looks like it's in the wrong section.
Kim, are you saying that collection and safekeeping should start with the sentence, student funds shall be submitted to the building principal?
Yes.
Start there.
Well, the student funds are collected by the students' advisors, class advisors, athletic department, et cetera. So I guess maybe I'm just not understanding your question. I apologize.
She's just saying those 4 sentences should be moved down, or moved to purpose.
To purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's more an explanation rather than a procedure.
It's a definition, really, of what the student funds are.
Correct, yeah. And then it goes to the building principal after, is the idea of this. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm sorry, I had one more. So the treasurer, I'm assuming, is going to be maintaining the records,
Correct.
reconciling, and keeping a separate ledger.
Correct.
Okay. That's it for me, I'm out. Thank you.
I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but with the number of changes, I'm leaning toward asking for yet another first read.
I agree.
We want to make sure it's in really good
It's a lot
shape.
of changes.
Yeah, it's too many.
Agree.
Okay, well, we will have 1 second read and 1 first read times 3.
Are you guys all set with a backup next school committee? You good with just this 1 first read next time, or do you want the same
Well, what
backup?
we'll do is when we go to second read,
Yep,
there will be separate motions to delete the other policies
yep,
and
Okay.
replace policy 373 with those.
okay. Very good.
And thank you for the explanation of the changes that are not being carried forward from those old policies. I think they're fine.
No problem.
All right, thank you. All right, technology budget presentation, Mr. Andrade.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm Dan Andrade, Director of Technology, presenting the technology budget. We have a pretty small department. It's just me and Mark Pimentel, which is our technology specialist, which is highlighted here on the first page. So the first account we're going to dive into is our technology-related hardware. So this is everything handheld that our students use and our educators. So we're budgeting this year around $134,000 for this account. 119 of that, 119,000 goes towards the purchase of Dell Chromebooks for our 1st, 5th, and 9th graders. We budget $4,000 for HP Chromebook devices that go for our educators. There's another $4,000 and change that is for the replacement of document cameras as they break in our classrooms. Another $4,000 goes towards our network wireless access points, as we need to maintain those and replace those. And then $2,400 roughly goes towards the replacement of speakers, any peripherals the teachers request, keyboards, mice, that kind of stuff. These are the only purchases we make hardware related that is budgeted for. There is a couple other areas like special ed related devices that gets, that's part of Sarah's budget, where if we get a new student into the district that needs an iPad or some sort of equipment purchase for them, that is separate from the technology related purchases account.
Before we go.
Yeah, if you want to go page by page, we
Yeah,
can.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, we could do that.
While we're looking at it, let's
Yeah.
ask the questions.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just have a comment, just procedural.
Yep.
It's hard to be going through line items when we don't have a line item budget yet.
Well, I think the line item budget will be forthcoming, it's still being worked through.
I know, but we're talking about specific account numbers, and we're talking, and that's hard for me when I'm trying to like reconcile what your, and we'll go ahead and go forward because we've got it, but it's hard for me to like, you know, we're justifying a number, and I can't, I don't have that number in front of me in the context of an entire budget. So it's just procedural, like, going forward, I would prefer that we get the entire budget first, and then we start going through the detail, but it's here, and this is great, and I can refer back to it.
Yeah.
But that's just for our administration, and perhaps the chair, just procedurally, I just think it's difficult to, you know, I like to have the detail for
No,
what I'm looking at.
I agree. Historically, this is how it went last year anyway, but, yeah, definitely it's tough, but this is just an overview right now,
Yeah, no,
obviously. And then-
understood,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know, so I would just, I don't know how other people feel, but that's just easier for me to like look at the detail when I already have a budget in front of me. But yes, no, I know this is how we've done it, and I can definitely go back and refer to it, so.
But you make a good point, right? And we'll talk about the formulation of the budget in another agenda item this evening as we plan to get into this a little bit more. One of the things that, you know, the very first question that comes to mind is, A, does this add up, right? B, how does this compare to the prior year? Is this an increase?
I have that as my last slide. I go through all the accounts and show you an increase and decrease from the
You do?
past 5 years. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the last
And-
slide of the presentation.
And we will be able, at the end of the day, we will see technology-related hardware, account 53709, come up for 134,033
Correct, yep.
in the line item budget.
Correct.
And you'll see a little bit of that, just technology-wise, UCO accounts in his second from last slide in this packet.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is, you know, just speaking to the whole question of transparency. I think there's still some folks out there who doubt it. And I want to make sure that, you know, we have these discussions every single year. It's just a matter of, to Mrs. Polish's point, maybe we can tighten up the procedures to make it more clear. So, thank you. Go ahead, sorry to
Yeah.
stop
Dan,
you.
you're
So
first.
we're on this page? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. How many Chromebooks are you talking about buying?
It
Roughly.
changes. We look at our student counts. We always have a little buffer here. So we, you know, I don't know our students counts off the top of our head for our enrollment for next year for 1st, 5th, and 9th. This has a very small buffer on top of that. We used to like to purchase like 50 additional devices. This past year, we already cut this number down, so I was able to get like 20 extra devices, which, you know, when we get new students coming in, or if a device breaks, that's like our replacement. So I don't have like a fixed number on the top of my head. It really is based off of our enrollment and then plus some. Last year, I was able to purchase around 360 with this number, so somewhere around that number again.
Has the price of the Chromebooks moved significantly at all this year?
Not much. We were expecting them to, you know, go up a little bit with the tariffs and stuff like that, but Dell has a lot of these devices in their hands, and they weren't, you know, shipping them overseas yet, so we didn't see the prices change. And, you know, I've worked with our sales reps, and they said our next purchase this summer, we won't see a big change from this year to last, because they have a lot of these devices here, so.
Yeah, luckily Dell built up the inventory prior to the tariffs, so we're still at a good point with our sales rep, but they have still enough inventory. Probably 2 years from now, we're gonna see a 9% tariff increase. Oh, maybe
When
by
admin
then.
and staff leave, you are getting their computers back, right? When admin and staff leave?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, there's some kind of thing for that. And then I was just wondering, the cabling and the wires, I thought we replaced that last year.
Which
Is
one
that
are we
like a
looking
constant
for?
thing? The $4,320 for repairs and
Yeah,
replacement?
we replaced and purchased additional stuff. We're talking, like, we did E-rate last year. 2 years ago, we did a project where we replaced all the APs in the district. And then last year, we did the cabling between like closets, putting fiber optic cables in.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
This is just if they, it was a one-time purchase 2 years ago, but if something happens, if,
Maintenance.
we have some in the gym, if it gets hit with a basketball or something, this is just a small buffer for us. I actually don't think we had to dive into these funds last year. We didn't have any big AP problems, but I do want to have a small cushion there. If I need to replace access points, this is where we'd get those funds.
Okay, and then the touch views, they're replacing the projectors?
Yes, I don't have projectors in here.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking you that.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's some classrooms some spaces we didn't fit a touch view into that still have projectors, but our costs are now, going to be much lower. We're not going to be replacing a lot of projectors and a lot of bulbs. So we would go into this area for that money for those bulbs, but it's a much lower cost in the past, and we're not replacing projectors all that often anymore since every classroom has a touch view.
Okay.
Kim,
And
just to add to that is the touch views were also, there are some classrooms that don't because with coordination with, say, principals, department heads, et cetera, there's certain departments that decline the touch view for the whole department. So the only ones getting the touch view and what we funded for the touch view were classrooms that will be using them for their curriculums. So there are a few classrooms without touch views.
so the ones that have it as the projector
Correct.
will not be
Yeah.
replaced?
Correct.
And the Elmos will stay in place, though?
Yeah, the Elmos work with the touch views, so that's separate. The teachers can plug those directly into the touch views or into their laptops and display from their laptops. Those are still, teachers like to write on hand. The Elmos are like the projector screens that, face down. Teachers could write underneath them. So those will still need to be purchased and replaced. That's,
Okay. That's it for me.
Okay,
Good.
moving on to software.
So the next account is educational software. This is different than the account that we talk about, our web-based software. This is everything that kind of runs on the back end to make the school operate. So we have like our paper cut server in here, our content filtering, our Google renewals, Microsoft renewals. That's everything that lives in this account. We're budgeting $90,015 for this. If there's any questions related to this account, I'll be happy to answer them.
I have a question with respect to e-finance.
Yeah.
Is that an annual maintenance fee?
It is.
And how long is the contract?
It's yearly, so
Do we have any kind of long-term commitment with e-finance?
where it's over with now. Because e-finance was the contract, what it is it was put on for 1 year because it was replacing Phoenix. Power School bought Phoenix. E-finance is part of Power School, so there was no actual, it was just year over year, so we can cancel at any time.
And do you know how this compares to other finance software products?
It's equivalent.
Financially?
It's equivalent to Munis, however, cheaper than what the town of Tiverton uses. Town of Tiverton is cheaper than this annual maintenance fee. But we have a little different system with UCOA through RIDE. But Munis, when I got a quote on Munis was about $35,000 a year, so it's pretty close to Munis.
So are you comfortable staying with this?
As of right now, yes, because,
So much other stuff
yeah,
going on.
just, it's, with the skeleton crew we have, it's tough to tackle a new software.
Go ahead and start up again, yeah. Okay.
The team is still, including myself, still learning on this system because it was just installed in 2023, so they didn't get much training, but we're getting through it.
So now's not really the time to change, in your opinion?
I would suggest waiting
Yeah,
right
okay.
now. Yeah.
Okay, anyone
And
else?
last year you had Incident IQ. Are you
Correct,
not using that anymore?
Incident IQ, it got moved to a different UCOA code. Me and Brendan had restructured a couple of the objects, and we decided it was a better fit in a different UCOA code. So you'll see it here, it's just on a different slide.
So it shows up,
And in
okay.
a different, yeah.
And then there's two of them that were last year, but not this year, Gen X
Also
SP?
moved to a different account as well.
and Google and OpenAI.
So that's a new,
They're
yeah,
both
so
on
Gen
here this year.
XSP moved into this one, and OpenAI moved into this one. Gen XSP is our data backup. It's if, there's any cybersecurity attacks, is where we would retrieve our data. It's a company offsite that we store our data with. It kind of works on our server back end type stuff. It just moved into this account. Then the Google and OpenAI is some chat GPT related softwares that we have on like for admin. It's like the paid versions for those accounts, so we don't have like a minimum of how many messages you can send back and forth.
So where was the Gen XP and what account, do you know?
Off the top of my head,
No,
I don't know, but
That's
it
fine.
didn't move into this one. It could have been in the web-based one,
Okay.
but we moved it
It
here
could have
because
been
it
in
is
the
a
next one
back-end
and moved
software.
up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I saw this, I was looking, last year, this
Yeah.
account was $55,819. This year, it's $90,015.
I didn't have e-finance in my presentation last year. I didn't have
you
those
didn't?
numbers, and I think there was more budgeted on the finance end. We moved this into the technology budget, so that's why you see this number kind of skyrocket up from last year. It's because e-finance is a big ticket item for this account, and it's now placed in here.
Yeah, two changes to this, Kim, when I came on board is I made that change because really technology-related hardware, the 57 series, is really for items that are greater than 12 months, so like computers that are gonna last. It's really capital-related items. So historically, it doesn't make sense to book things that are, most things are annual at 12 months, but that's why I moved some things around. It's more capital property type accounts. And I apologize, I forgot my second point, so if I remember, I'll come back.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions related to this account? Our next account is 53222, which is web-based instructional. So this is a lot of our curriculum material. So in here, you'll see Lexia, Renaissance, iReady testing, Freckle, Zello, which is our guidance office, like software, Amplify Science at the middle school and high school. There was a couple changes. I know, Kim, if you do have last year's, our Renaissance did go down quite a bit because we had a site license last year, and with the closure of Fort Barton, we were able to switch to like per pupil license going with those students going into different buildings. So it actually, there was a decent amount of savings in Freckle. A lot of the other softwares we had were already per pupil subscriptions. So those didn't change much, but Freckles, there was a big change in that number because of the change in subscription.
Because I'm looking at Pearson homeschooling. Last year, it was $13,000. This year, it's $23,000. So that went up $10,000 from last year. Is that per use, per student? Do they charge per student, or?
Yeah, I don't know if Brendan
They
has
gave
more insight on that
they
one.
gave a discount in the first half of the year and then went into like a new contract. So the original contract ended. So then that happens all the time with software. Of course, they jump it up drastically. So now we're on kind of Diane's question about e-finance. Now we're on like a year-to-year basis with them. They kind of get you in and then they increase
Yep.
price.
And I couldn't find Z-Space. Are we still using that? Project Lead the Way, Naviance?
No, so Project Lead the Way got moved into, I believe, the high schools.
We're trying to move Project Lead the Way into CT Perkins or CT categorical. And that all depends on allocations from the federal government. And every CT program has to spend a certain percentage, so it all depends. But we're pretty optimistic we can do that, talking to Ms. Cusimano and Dr. Keough and Superintendent Haskins, of course. And Z-Space, right now, the recommendation from the teachers and the administration is to end Z-Space this upcoming year. So right now, it is not in our budget and presentation.
Because I noticed too, last year you did a section that was what we could do without,
Yeah,
and then what we have already eliminated. And there wasn't that this time.
yeah, I mean, last year we
So-
were making drastic cuts, so I did show
But I
a
mean,
slide
this is
like
like
that.
54,000.
Yeah,
It'd
and
be
it was
nice
just
to
that
see
one item, and it was just based off the feedback from teachers that, we could do away with Z-Space. I know it was a hot topic, and it's been brought up at multiple school committee meetings, and parents have also voiced their, why we're paying so much for this. So when we're looking for cuts this year, that's one of the areas we went to. additional to what Brendan said with the teacher feedback, we felt like this was an area we could trim down the budget. I would have included a slide like that, but there really wasn't that many cuts, and this was one of them. That was it was a big one, but other than that, we haven't really made any changes from last year. Just moved across accounts for the most part. Some things changed, went up in price, down in price, and that's probably one of our only softwares that we are cutting from the district.
So we're still gonna be utilizing the equipment, but it's just the software that's not being considered for this upcoming budget right now.
So you can use it without?
Yeah, we own the devices.
Correct.
You just won't see upgrades or anything like that?
Correct,
Or
yeah. Ms. Cusimano, I think she's gonna use it for some sort of testing. Engineering's gonna use it for certain things, so the equipment itself will still be utilized.
Okay. Does this I know that there is more curriculum coming down the pipe that is going to be mandated. Is that included in these budget numbers?
No, I have that under e-text and textbooks, a different UCOA line outside of technology.
Okay. We'll talk about that separately then.
Yes.
So Naviance at the high school, are they still using that?
No, that
No, I have.
Did something else replace
yeah, I
that?
think that's Zello, right? Yeah,
What was
we
the question?
swapped a
Sorry.
few softwares with cheaper alternatives, and that was one of them. So we got away with Naviance and moved over
Yep.
to Zello.
So,
Oh, okay.
Ms.
That's spelled with the X.
Yeah, Ms. Kraeger and Ms. McGuire did some research this current school year on Power School Naviance, and speaking to other districts that use Zello, it was a difference of, I think, 14,000 down to like 6,000, so 50% cut.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, the platform is easier and
yeah.
more efficient to use, and the information it provides to colleges is better. So-
Yep, we had a team of, I think of approximately 7 people, because all the guidance counselors and then
Yeah.
us 3.
Mhm.
So that was the decision we made with that committee.
And TCI, what is that? That's a new one.
That's connected to, it's obviously low cost, $144, but something connected to science or social studies at the middle school.
Social studies, that's what it was,
Social studies
yeah.
at the middle school with Ms. Coster and team.
And then I noticed you switched around Wit and Wisdom and Great Minds Eureka.
Yeah, they
The
moved,
UCOAs.
they moved into here because they are curriculum-based
Correct.
softwares. They were in the web-based one prior, but
Okay,
Yeah, it makes sense to put all the curriculum items together, so.
Absolutely does.
okay.
So this is just part of your really first budget season
correct.
where you've been able to kind of, now that you're used to it, you've been through a whole year of trying to get things moved to where you think they belong?
Correct.
Okay, because I
Correct.
know now that you've got a year under your belt, you're trying to put things, okay.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
The next slide is just 2 IDEA softwares that we purchased. iExcel at the high school and iExcel at the middle school. There's a few other softwares that we purchased under IDEA, but they fall into like Sarah's budget, and they're very student-specific. When we have a child come in with, special ed needs, and they need a specific software, that's purchased differently than these 2 softwares. These softwares are supportive materials that more students use. We have roughly like 400 licenses across the 2 for our students. So this is more of a bigger group that is using these softwares for additional math and ELA support at the middle and high school.
So when you're saying IDEA grant, is that an actual grant you get?
Yeah, are we
Yeah.
offsetting these costs somewhere?
Federal government.
So we have the expense here, but we have the revenue somewhere else? What are we saying here? Oh, gotcha, okay. Oh, okay.
Historically, this has always gone under the IDEA.
Okay. So it's not that we have a grant somewhere else that's going to offset this expense? Okay.
It's entitlement grants, and he's basically spelling out this is not an operating, it's under the entitlement grants.
Okay.
And we'll definitely receive that because it's an entitlement.
If the government comes up with the money.
Yeah, like we got cut 10% year over year, but we got $525,000 this year in IDA Part B,
Yeah.
so it's a significant number.
The next account is supplemental instructional programs. This is the account that we had moved some things into, and then this is the one that typically took major cuts in the past, because this is everything supplemental to the curriculum. the educators requesting softwares, big groups, and just everything that, our educators like to have. Plus, there's a couple other things in here that we use on an admin side, like our Alice training is in here.
School Spring?
School
Zoom?
Spring, yep, Zoom, et cetera. E-Hall Pass at the high school, our Amazon business account, so. Any
What
questions?
throws me
related?
is it's not really web-based supplemental instruction programs.
Well, yeah, all these softwares are web-based, they're not like downloaded.
But they're not
I mean,
instruction.
supplemental instruction, yeah, that's
There's,
what's,
yeah, there's
Correct.
some of,
This-
yeah, well, I mean,
Is that the 53502 definition in UCO?
It's really
Yeah.
other technology services, but yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's got two definitions, Dan.
we could change the name of it, this is just what the name of the
Well,
account I always went
yeah.
off of was, so.
In my budget, it's other technology services, but
Thank you.
your COA calls it this, but if you look at Portsmouth's budget, they put everything here, so, you know.
are you still using Kraeger and Clicker and,
So those are softwares, like I mentioned prior, like when I was going over the IXL stuff, that would be stuff that's in like Sarah's
oh, okay, those are
budget
all.
for, because they're specific to like small amounts of students that you know,
Okay.
need those for their services, so,
Augmentative communication devices, assistive
Correct.
technology.
correct.
So this MTSI email gateway, it's this
Yeah.
e-civics grant?
Yeah, that
What's
was
all about?
something we purchased 2 years ago. I gave you guys a brief overview on this in executive session once. Me and Brendan found a grant last year that would pay this for 2 years. So hopefully we could find more to cover this, but this is like a cybersecurity software. This is our email filtering and gateway type stuff. So so we have it funded for FY26 and FY27. FY28, if we don't find a grant to cover it, we will have to add this cost into this budget.
So the revenue is somewhere else?
Yeah, the grant we actually received in FY '25.
Oh, to cover both years?
Cover
Yes.
both
Yeah.
years,
Gotcha.
correct. Yeah, they
Gotcha.
gave us $28,000 for
Gotcha.
both years.
Okay.
And obviously, that grant came in front of the school committee whenever
Yep.
that was,
Yep.
but,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
reading it, I just didn't remember the
Yep.
amount.
And we do we purchase the software and then we get reimbursed for it, so we do need that dollar amount allocated for that initial purchase. At least for this grant, that's how it was funded, it was a reimbursement.
Correct.
I mean, in theory, I guess we should have $16,720 of fund balance left.
Correct,
In
yeah.
theory.
In theory, yes.
DocuSign last year was $3,538, and this year it was $400.
Yeah, so,
Well, this year was 3,000, next year it'll be
Correct.
400 because of user licenses. We decreased them down to 1. We originally had 7 all guidance counselors.
That was
and
during COVID,
During
really,
COVID,
too.
yep.
Yeah, we needed that.
And after discussion with Sarah and team, we decided on 1, possibly 2. We're still discussing, but we're discussing different avenues too as well, but like Adobe Sign instead of DocuSign, but.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it for me, thank you.
okay. The next slide has multiple accounts on here. We have one for maintenance and repairs. These are kind of placeholder amounts based off of our expenditures from the year prior. So these are kind of what we spend on these accounts, on certain services, on our PA system. E-rate is, I'll talk a little bit about that when I get to the next bullet point, but we pay $2,500 a year for E-rate, and that's to keep us included in the program. But E-rate like cuts our savings on a lot of things in half. And when I get over to internet, I'll talk about that. We pay 50% of the internet bill, and E-rate covers the other 50%. So, I mean, it's a really small fee that we pay E-rate
So
to be part
what,
of their
is this in
program.
at net or gross?
That's the.
That is the
number.
half we pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's currently out to, currently out to bid right now, but,
Correct.
that's our estimate.
Yeah. So we're currently out to bid for another 3-year contract for our internet access. And again, I work with E-rate closely. They actually put the bid out for me, and, you know, they give me the responses, and we could select the contract from there. But in the past, we've used Cox for our internet provider here, and again, we only pay 50%, and then E-rate pays the other 50%. And it's the same program that we have done those network projects under, We don't have any network projects planned for this year, but that's category 2, and it's specific to network projects. We still have that funding there, but we just don't have a project to, attack right now. Next would be the web-based instructional, so that's our library softwares. And then the next bullet would be our copiers and leases. Currently, we have 6 copiers on lease, and that's the average. I didn't put the terms in here because typically when one ends, we need to purchase other copiers. It's not like these 6 copiers aren't all the copiers in the district. This is just a small amount of them. So as soon as we finish paying for these leases, I would go after replacing the other ones that need to be replaced that we've had for multiple years.
You're rolling, always
So
replacing.
I'm kind of always rolling and keeping, 6 on rotation with a lease. So once these are finished being paid for, then we'd move to a different area and a different school and take some old ones out of there and also, fit them with some new ones.
Are there maintenance contracts on these?
There is, and I believe that's included in that
In the
number.
lease, yeah. Question, how do you manage your inventory?
Which one, devices or?
All of it?
Incident IQ is one of the softwares. It was on one of the other slides. That's all of our devices like projectors, our asset tags, laptops, all that kind of stuff.
It is a lot.
Yeah, our software, we take care of. A lot of the software lives in Clever for us. And then I'm in constant communication with a lot of these vendors. I mean, I'm pretty well organized, I guess, myself, so I have everything in a place.
Okay.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, Danny does a great job of that because it's actually part of our audit with special education
Correct,
for
that
entitlement
too.
grants. So he has to provide the inventory listing, and he does a very good job with it.
Great. I
Did the
just never had asked
outside
that
auditors look at that as well, I
They
would
do.
think?
They're the ones
Yeah.
that audit it. Yep.
And then the last bullet point there is just miscellaneous tools, cables, adapters. Again, it's a placeholder number, roughly on what we've spent in the past, and that number's pretty much been constant for the past 5 years.
Did you spend that last year? It was the same number last year, 10,000.
I don't believe we got to 10, but
Yeah, I think we were around 5 or 6. I think I might have dropped it a little bit on him too, but
yeah.
yeah, he historically, that's his request is 10, but we revisit that number as the budget goes along.
And again, remind me, I know we've changed it a few times, Diane and Brendan, but policy is something like this where we would be under, you do have the authority to move it within
Within the major category?
Within the major category.
Correct, yes. Yep.
So you would be able to, you are allowed via policy to move those savings into that, another category that's over.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
This is similar to the last bullet point, just continued onto another slide for space, but our security cameras and our IP-centric phones and our Verizon phone bill is displayed here, and no major changes from last year.
UCO account. So,
Oh, it changes the UCO? Yeah.
yeah, the
I'll do.
5, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
The 54902, you'll see in your packet this evening, I just did that change in December. I'm actually breaking out fire alarm services and fire system services and alarm services into a different UCOA. So this way we can see all that spending on one line rather than grouped into another line, which I believe is under rental of equipment or other tech services. So I want to break out our alarm and fire so we can see those costs, because in my opinion, if that budget line item overspends, it's for a emergency usage only, so.
So next slide, I know you have it in front of you. It's pretty small to see up there, but this is a 5-year trend of, how these numbers relate to the past year and prior. You will see a big spike in that green on FY24 on the technology-related hardware. That is because right post-COVID, we had this ECF grant, and it paid for all of our student laptops. That went away, that like 1 or 2 years after COVID. So that's when we first had to start purchasing Chromebooks ourselves. So that's what that big spike is there. And then we've cut from other areas, like I used to budget for touch views, but now we have one in every classroom. We've cut the cost from projectors down. We've used some capital funding to purchase laptops for staff. So that's, you know, that's the trend down in the green. And then where you see that blue and that yellow from FY24 to FY25, they kind of go in opposite directions. That's just, you know, Brendan and I moving things from other categories. So you'll see that spike in blue, but you also see that same kind of drop in orange, and that's just those two changing. And then everything else the past 2 years has been pretty much major cuts to this department, so everything's kind of on a downward trend from there.
So, you know, you heard it earlier, right? Enrollment is continuing to decline, and it has been for a long time. Can you tell me how that impacts your budget regularly? I mean, how much of this technology budget is sensitive to student count?
Yeah, I mean, the devices and some of our per pupil licenses definitely will go down as, you know, student enrollment declines. It's not going to be major numbers, since we always have like kind of a buffer on there. When we purchase per pupil license, we purchase a few more. So if we have a student register into the district, we have a license and a seat for that student. But yeah, as you know, as student count goes down, our enrollment, well, our per pupil licenses would also go down, and these numbers would reflect that.
They do.
So
Do you lock those in for a number of years, depending upon what it is?
No, so because Rhode Island has like the master price agreement, you know, most of our
We don't have
contracts
to.
are 1-year agreements, just because if like another school district gets a certain number, well, a certain price, every district in Rhode Island also has to get that same pricing.
Gotcha.
So we're all paying the same per pupil for, you know, Renaissance and anything else. So it's all year to year based. And then the last slide just kind of shows what I just showed in that line diagram, but just with, you know, numbers in the past 5 years and the changes in the accounts.
Thank you.
UCOA 56501, which is technology-related supplies, and you have $10,000 for that. I don't see that on here.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I missed that in putting this into here.
So this is going to go up 10,000?
It would be its own line.
It would be its own line, but,
Yeah.
I can
It's just
tell
not
you.
included in the screenshot, but
56501. 56501 was not included because it includes many other items, such as, that's a technology-related supply, so that's our copier, printer, ink, toner, et cetera. It's a $50,000 line item. 10,000 of that 50 is for cables.
Oh, so this technology-related supplies, account 56501, you're saying 10 here, but you're saying it's going to be bigger on the budget?
So there's more into that account line item, not just what Danny's presenting for cables and whatnot.
Oh, so I would probably present that all at once.
Yeah,
Just
and that's
tell us
why,
it's
I
related.
just remember,
Yeah.
that's why I kept it off.
Yeah, that
Yep,
makes sense.
Yep.
So we'll see that included in other discussion in
Correct,
another-
because copier, ink, toner, et cetera, is all school-based
Gotcha.
or location-based.
So it's 1/5 of that, but, which
Correct.
is why you left it off, because
Correct.
otherwise it's,
Yeah, it doesn't make much of that
didn't make
line item,
sense, okay.
yeah. And to answer your question, Kim, we spent $8,304 last year on miscellaneous cables and tools and that, adapters, et cetera.
Thank you.
No problem.
that's it for my presentation. So if there's any other questions.
Your first page, you forgot, it says
Yeah.
instructional something.
I'm supposed to say technology after that. I noticed that as soon as I put it up on the screen. I was like, oh, typo, first page.
you
But
can be the director of instruction if you'd
yeah,
like.
it's pretty close.
Instructional,
I think I played with like the little box to like format it
Make
better, and I
your own
just
title.
cut it right out.
Well, thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have our FY25 deficit update.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. All right. So. All right, thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. So I gave a pretty lengthy memo about the deficit. President Edwards spoke about our little workshop that we have with Madam Chair Farnworth, Superintendent Haskins, myself, Attorney Scungio, their attorney, Town Administrator Jones, and Treasurer Charette, and President Edwards. I believe last Friday was our third or fourth meeting on the deficit.
It was a third.
Third altogether. We've also been meeting with the Auditor General from the state level as well, with that same group of, that I just mentioned. So the memo summarizes the Tiverton Schools preliminary unaudited FY25 actuals, which indicate a general fund operating deficit of approximately $1.25 million. The shortfall reflects roughly $591,000 in missed or delayed revenues, most notably from EBEC and Newport collaborative closures, which I'll speak to in a little bit, grant disruptions from the federal government, and also slight fund balance adjustments tied to the FY24 audit, combined with approximately $658,000 in expenditures, overages to the original budget, driven primarily by transportation, special ed services, and staff and related costs. These results are based on reprojected budget approved in October of 2024, when I began with the district, rather than the original budget in July, which had already reallocated $1.6 million in fund balance to address the FY24 deficit, structural deficit. The memo also outlines potential deferred revenue opportunities, including the EBEC escrow funds, Fall River tuition receipts, which may warrant discussion with the town council and school committee as possible partial offsets to the FY25 deficit, subject to approval. During the workshop, we did discuss a possible FY25 deficit offset that had to do with the ride reimbursements that the school gets into a town account that's handled by the treasurer. Right now, there's a little over about 250,000, I believe, and then there's another 900 or whatever thousand coming in, and it'll be around 1,149,000 in that account as of March 1st. We've already got approval from RIDE on that. It's just a matter of transferring the funds on March 1st. So we're hoping the town council will entertain a one-time offset to fund this $1.25 million. This would leave us roughly with $100,000 offset that we discussed that we would deal with after the majority was hopefully taken care of. And then possibly the school committee could discuss partial offsets with EBEC escrow funds, possibly Fall River tuition receipts for students that live in the Sauty Pond area, that currently the school department gets a $40,000 agreement from the city of Fall River for those tuitions, and then that money is turned over to the town, so it doesn't really stay with the schools. So that all needs to be ironed out with the town council, obviously, for the approval of the majority of it, and then we can discuss the approval of the remaining, if you guys prefer. We also talked to the OAG today, this morning, and I need to coordinate with the town treasurer and town administrator, who unfortunately weren't able to make the call today, but they recommended doing some receivable type transfer in receivable type audit work in the FY25 period if we were able to move on getting this, getting this approved by the town council. Superintendent, Madam Chair, did I miss anything? Maybe spoke too fast, I don't know.
Explain receivable work. So they want to set up a receivable and a payable on both sides on the
Yeah,
books
so
to basically zero it out just for financial purposes?
Correct, yeah, transfer the
Okay.
money from the town to the
Okay.
school, similar to what we do for gaming
Yep.
revenue.
Yep, okay.
So that would be a conversation with the treasurer and our auditor.
So that's just how they want us,
They're hoping to clear this in the same year. Yeah,
right, how
yeah.
they want to see it set up for,
Correct,
Yeah, okay.
correct. And it's receivable.
when I
'cause-
say they, I mean the state.
Yeah, the cost of receivable, because we would receive the
Yep.
cash in the future.
Yep.
Yep.
I think you summarized it all very well, thank you.
So where are we with approval?
These, my understanding is that the town council will be taking this up at their next meeting
Okay, good.
on the 26th, I think that is.
Thank you, guys.
You know, and there'll be some steps involved if they approve it and they go along with it. But one thing to note is that this was the FY '25 budget deficit. And we do continue to see that as a one-time event. We are not anticipating a deficit in the current fiscal year, FY '26. We're anticipating just a small surplus, which is, you know, what we always aim for. And we'll continue with these budget practices that are, I think, giving us what we need. And hopefully, you know, we're always susceptible to unexpected expenses, and that hit us hard last year.
Yep.
And that can continue to happen at any time. And I think once we can get past this particular circumstance, I would strongly recommend that we do our best to try to build up our fund balance a little bit so that we have the cushion we need to absorb some of those unexpected blows as we go further.
Can I ask, is it standard practice that when we get tuition from other cities, towns, states, that it goes to the town?
No, only City of Fall River.
Why is that?
There was a legal decision, thank you, legal decision done in 2010.
I think it was the commissioner
Yeah,
opined.
Commissioner,
Yeah,
right, the RIDE commissioner made a decision for not only Tiverton, there was, Portsmouth was involved. I forget
Yeah.
why Portsmouth was involved, but I read the lawsuit when I came on board, so it's been some time, but, yeah, so that's only City of Fall River. The idea is the town is given the school's appropriation to fund every student within their building, but obviously that changes year after year. And talking to the town administrator, the president, they did seem to, you know, consider rethinking that the schools get the money or doing something different, part of the agreement. But we have 7 City Fall River Saudi Pond kids this year.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
What does that
Good.
number represent? Thank you.
But they are
Good questions.
certainly, absent that, they're amenable to using part of that, at least for now, for the shortfall.
That's what it sounded like.
Good.
But, yeah, so right now, we left off on, we would tackle the big number, which is the capital ride
And then we'll figure
reimbursement,
out the rest
And then we'll figure
later.
out the 100,000 later. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Understand, though, this does require a vote.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, oh,
by the town
absolutely, the
council,
whole
and it
council
not
has to
been discussed
understand it.
at the town
yeah.
council level yet.
Correct, yeah.
Nope.
And they got the same memo detail as you did tonight.
Well-
Not the town council yet, but the individuals I mentioned did.
Okay.
I gave them a nice,
Well, thank you
nice
to
summary.
both
Yeah.
you guys and the people on the town side that have been working to try to get this, and, you know, and working with the Attorney General
Yep.
at the state level. Thank you, guys.
Okay, anything else on that?
I think that's it. That's all I have.
Mr. Haskins, did you have anything you wanted to add at all?
No, thank you.
All right, let's go to the monthly financial report. Brendan?
All right. Right along. So, again, thank you, Madam Chair. You kind of highlighted, we still are heading in the right direction. Obviously, lean budget, but we're projecting a small surplus at the end of the year, including a surplus in the Medicaid reimbursements, as we've been seeing monthly, to grow a little bit of a positive reserve. So nothing drastic has changed month to month from November to December. We remain attentive to the usual items that tend to fluctuate throughout the year, which is special ed, transportation, and staffing needs, such as salary substitutes, overtime, et cetera. All those variable type areas. So, if anyone has any questions, I don't really have anything to, as I said, pinpoint at this time for the, through December, 6 months in.
I'll open it up for questions.
Why is statewide on here?
Unfortunately, Kim, that's a personal confidential question that we
Okay.
can talk offline, because By law, we're not talking about a handful of students, we're talking about less than a
Okay.
handful, so, yeah.
So just a couple of notes that we're, 42% through the year, I guess, and we're at 40%, so that's good. And then I see we've had a couple of small transfers between, accounts, but nothing that major that you've needed to move or that we've needed to approve.
Yep.
Okay. Great job. Is that it, everyone? Okay. Last item on our open session agenda, FY '27 budget planning. I'll let you kick it off, Brendan, or Mr. Haskins, whoever.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are expecting the governor's recommended state aid figures on Friday. This is the total state aid being recommended by the governor for all school districts in Rhode Island. Takes into account the Rhode Island funding formula. This, of course, is subject to the full legislature passing a budget in June, but it gives us some figures to work with. As I explained to the town council and the school committee earlier this evening, we do expect some reductions in state aid based on our analysis of fiscal year '24, both declining enrollment in the Tiverton schools and the reassessments of properties in Tiverton. The funding formula assumes a town's ability to fund education into the formula, thereby cities and towns that the state assumes has greater ability to fund education receives less money proportionately from the state. So we are anticipating a slight reduction in state aid, and we'll have more information on Friday. In your memo, Director Andrade has put together some useful information about how the funding formula works. It is a very complicated formula, as you might imagine. Most importantly, there's a quadratic mean, which identifies both the reassessments and the percentage of the reassessments as compared to current sales of properties in Tiverton. What we identified in that document from fiscal year '24 is that Tiverton is at 69%. That is, there is a difference between the reassessments and the sales based on a sample. The lower the percentage, the worse it is for that quadratic mean. So in terms of the funding formula, it does contribute to a reduction in state aid. As Director Andrade has pointed out, fewer students obviously means less aid. Importantly, the governor's recommended state aid is based on fiscal year '24. So we're looking at enrollment from that year. And likewise, in 2 years from now, we'll be looking at fiscal year '25. And I'll turn it over to Director Andrade. He put together the memo and can provide more color.
Yeah, so I put together this memo as a summary to the school committee. I tried my best to keep it simple language, and a lot of this was derived from a presentation from the Rhode Island League and Cities seminar they had last year that I actually attended with Administrator Jones out in Warwick. So a lot of this information came from their PowerPoint presentation, but I did add a couple of my takes, such as the key points on how the formula works. And then on page 3, I added some actual data, which I call the Appendix Tiverton Pacific Reference Table. Some of this came from RIDE, some of this came from documentation we have in-house as well. So any questions tonight or in the future, please feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to get an answer or give you an answer.
I'll start. Any plans to sort of give this memo to the Budget Committee and the council and go over the results? Or maybe when you do the budget presentation? I'm thinking something so that everybody can sort of be on the same page and understand why the aid is dropping. I did notice here you said 1/3 of it is 1/3 of it is enrollment, but 2/3 of it is that
With the housing.
in their opinion, or it's not even their opinion, based on their data,
Correct.
based on housing prices, the town can give more than they are.
Correct, that's how the formula works.
That's
yeah.
how the formula works.
The state decreases based on the sales of the housing being more than assessed value.
Yeah, so if they
So
feel
it-
like the town can give more to the get local education, they're gonna
Yeah.
reduce what.
Yeah, technically,
what
the
state
town should be
gives.
taking on more revenue because they have a higher
Correct.
tax base,
Correct,
excuse
so
me.
I just,
Yeah.
I just, and again, just a suggestion that, when we give our budget presentation to
Mm-hmm.
the Budget Committee and Council, to make, certainly as simple as you want to make it, but to make this part of that, so that everybody sort of is on the same page of how this is being driven. I think it's really important to understand it. Very much appreciate the summary.
And to that point, as I'll dovetail into the rest of the conversation here, we have until March 19th to submit our line item budget, right, to the town. We did briefly touch on this back in December, that, perhaps we should hold a couple of budget workshops, at least one, perhaps more, I'm thinking two, to deep dive, if you will, into the budget and to debate perhaps some of the changes that will be recommended. One of those, well, first of all, we're going to have to set dates, and we were thinking, I know when I spoke with Director Andrade, we were thinking we would start those discussions in February. Hopefully I can get everyone to maybe agree to a couple of Saturday mornings so that we can focus entirely on the budget. We've had some success doing that in the past.
The later we get into February, the more difficult it is for me to attend.
No, I
mean, that's
understand.
okay. I mean, if I'm not there, but I just my work schedule just doesn't allow
Yeah.
a lot of free time the later we get into February and March.
Yep.
So I don't know if we can, do it.
Superintendent and I were pretty, obviously we would have to make it work with our families, but we're pretty open right now to, if you wanted to propose a couple dates tonight, I don't know if that's,
So why don't we put our heads together over the next week or so, and we'll shoot out some potential dates to school
Yep.
committee members.
yep. Even if you wanted to start with January 31st being the
That's
first
what I'm
Saturday.
January
thinking. The
31st?
sooner the
Yeah.
better.
I was
As
just
a-
looking at the calendar, yeah.
I mean, can we just tentatively look now, spend a few
It
minutes?
doesn't have to be that date, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, the 31st,
Sure.
so maybe the 31st and
Yeah, whatever you guys,
the
we were thinking
7th
like
or the 31st.
9, 10
and,
o'clock.
Yeah, we wouldn't go any past noon.
Yeah.
Or the 31st and the
Um,
14th, if you
yeah,
want
January
time in
31st.
between.
31st, great for me, actually.
Yeah, 31st works.
All right, and we can work on developing an agenda.
And
For
it
what
would
the topics would
be not like 9 to noon?
9 to 12, yep.
Okay, not too early, okay.
Nope.
I don't know if I can do that.
We're thinking 9.
Later, would later in the afternoon work better for you, Kim, or?
Yeah, like around 12:30, 1 o'clock maybe, on a Saturday, I know.
Are you unavailable Saturday mornings?
Just in
Generally?
general?
Yeah, I have a commitment every Saturday morning for my daughter.
How's the committee feel about meeting on Saturday afternoons? I personally don't like it, but
I know, I'm sorry. I can try to see if I
Yeah, I
can.
was going to
can
say,
you try to,
Get
with
somebody
advance
to do that.
notice,
Yeah, I'll see
Is it
if
possible?
I can. Yeah, I'll try.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Why don't we tentatively set the 31st?
Or can we do maybe the 31st in the morning and then maybe try to pick another one in the afternoon, so it's only one?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's only one you'd have to accommodate? Switch it up.
Because I could do till 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, too. That's,
So we're going to
This is
tentatively
10.
say the 31st?
Yeah.
And then we'll set another one. You want to set another one now, or you want to set another one at that time?
Whatever.
Yes. 9 to 12 on the 31st, workshop.
We can also choose to hold another evening meeting outside of our regular schedule,
We could.
as we start to move forward on Saturdays if it's not looking good.
We just traditionally, I guess, done Saturdays mornings, just because it seems, we're not tired, I worry about evening meetings because.
No,
when
you're right, it's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's important that we try to get everybody here.
Well, that's why I said maybe we could do another Saturday, but do an afternoon, more, so that Kim doesn't have to do 2 Saturdays where she's trying to accommodate a morning.
What are you thinking for dates? I know you mentioned that the further into February we go, the more difficult it is. so-
Yeah, but if there's only one, I don't know if you guys, 2 weeks, do you want to do the 14th? Do you want to do them back to back? Brendan, what do you got? I mean, I know people probably don't want to do an afternoon on Valentine's Day. I don't care, because I've been married forever, but others might. He probably is going, hey, wait a minute. He's going to text me right now and go, what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't want to say anything on camera, but.
How about
Yeah,
February
no,
7th?
the 14th are no bueno.
So the 7th?
The 14th, they both work.
The 7th or the 21st?
Well, we can do the 7th. It'll be a quick turnaround. You guys will be focused on
True.
whatever the outcomes of the 31st are.
Can
and
we do
getting
the
ready.
afternoon on the?
So it'd be February 7th?
I can't do the afternoon, but if
No?
you need to schedule without me.
Yeah, let's try to
No.
do it when we can all be around,
Let's
though.
try, yeah. 21st?
I can do the 21st.
7th.
One of those is
No, we have school vacation coming up, too.
Vacation
Yeah,
is-
that's vacation week
That's
Oh.
vacation
So
week.
that's not, well, it's not good. I'm only thinking
for the schools.
somebody be here and open the buildings.
Well, I think Mr. Haskins and Mr. Andrade might have keys.
Yeah.
But
Well, so maybe
They
to
might
your
be on
point,
vacation.
they might be on vacation.
maybe
and
to
I
your
have get
point,
them.
Diane, maybe we'll have to do it like a Friday afternoon or something. For those of us, try and maybe work from home and maybe try to get going at 4 on a Friday afternoon or something, like on the 6th? Like 4 to 6?
Happy birthday.
I gotta tell you, Fridays,
That sounds awesome.
Okay. So what about
yeah, the
what
last
about-
thing on
Speaking for
earth
you
I'd
all.
want to be doing.
It's actually my birthday.
Oh, all right.
But,
Mine's on the 14th, and
I
I
don't-
was willing
was
to
gonna
come,
say,
so come on.
I didn't mind. I'll go out to dinner afterwards.
Well, I mean, honestly, if we go on the 14th, right, if we were to do
Happy
12 to 3,
Valentine's Day?
is that something that could happen?
Happy Valentine's Day?
You going out for dinner from 12 to
No,
3?
I'm not going anywhere, but
Early bird?
these gentlemen and lady might want to be
Oh.
going somewhere.
Well, no, if you have objections.
plans that day.
You have plans, all right, so everybody's got
Yeah,
plans,
it's not-
okay.
I wonder why.
So what if we do our regular, the 10th, and we just do budget and don't have anything else on it?
On which date?
February 10th,
Our normal meeting?
the regular.
Like, what's coming up that's crucial
Besides budget.
besides budget? And we'll still have another meeting coming up to deal with anything.
Budget.
Budget.
We have another meeting in January.
Yes, you
So
do.
any business we can push, I'm expecting for February, we could push to January. We can move up. And then anything we could push back, we have 2 meetings in February as well.
We have
So I
we have
think that would be fine.
what do we have, the 2nd and the 3rd? What, 2nd and 4th? When do we meet?
10th, February
10th
10th
and the 24th.
24th.
So why don't we do the 10th, and we'll just come at 6, and it's budget? 6 to
Designated as
9?
as a work session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work for everybody?
Yes,
yes.
So 6 PM.
Yep.
So
on the 10th.
January 31st, and then the regular meeting. on
And the
10th.
regular meeting, but it's only gonna be
Yep.
And any
budget.
emergency items that may
Unless we
come up.
have a grant to approve or something, yeah.
And let me tell you, better not be any, because we've tried, this is the reason we went to Saturdays, because we've tried this before, doing just the budget, and it always ends up there's 12 things on it besides. So,
Only if it's really urgent.
like, unless it's an emergency,
The fact that we have 2 school committee meetings per month gives me a lot of confidence that we can focus
Thank you,
strictly on a
Chris.
work session.
so we have a budget workshop on the 10th from 6 to 9, if anybody's listening, and then we have one, we're gonna post them,
February
obviously.
10th?
And then we'll have,
February 10th, yeah,
6 to 9?
yeah.
and then we'll have a budget workshop on Saturday, January 31st, from 9 to 12.
Okay.
And go from there.
I have January 31st. What happened to February 7th?
Nope,
We're out, okay. February 21st?
Out.
nope.
So.
We're just doing those
replacing
two.
that with February 10th, 6 to 9, yes.
And you'll have budget information to us before the 31st, so that we can at least look at it privately?
I think the idea is to give you your first view on the 27th, and then we'll go right into a work, we can get into it, but you can have it at the meeting, prior to the meeting, and then
And then.
we'll go into the 31st
Have the
workshop.
rest of the week to look at it, and then we'll
Exactly.
dig into it on Saturday.
May-
Perfect.
May I suggest that we put together binders
Yep, we already purchased the binders, so we're starting that process.
and that, every discussion we have, including the discussion we had on technology tonight,
Yep.
be included in there so we have something to look back to?
Yep, we have 8 binders. We already started with the technology presentation.
Very good.
The 27th, we should, if all goes well, we'll have a special ed presentation along with transportation, and then the full budget as well.
And then
So-
as we meet for these meetings, that's when we'll actually be able to access them. Good?
Correct.
Good.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, well, great conversation, everyone. That takes us to announcements and future meetings. Next Tuesday, January 20th, there's a health and wellness meeting here at the library at 6 PM. Our next regular meeting is Tuesday, January 27th, and it will be, after that, we'll have our budget workshop on Saturday, January 31st, which is not noted on the agenda, but we just came to that agreement this evening. And then, of course, February 10th is our next regularly scheduled meeting, which will be repurposed as a budget workshop. So at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for us to move into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 4246 5A3, approve updates to the emergency response plan. Do I have that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Yes, we're in executive. Thank you.